So, exciting news about Sony releases, Sony A1 Mark II and the 28-70 f2. Let's see together. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thomas Love here from One Lens Solely, and today we're gonna talk about these new releases from Sony because I feel that the segment is a bit stagnating. Now, I happen to use Sony cameras, but I'm not a Sony fanboy, so I try to be objective when I see new products, new releases, and see if I really need them, if you need them, if I want them, or if you want them, and why, and if it's right to do so. So let's talk about this Sony A1 Mark II. Now, it's a new camera. It has the whole package, everything that all the technology that Sony developed thanks to the contribution from the aliens, because it's an alien technology, as I used to say, it's in there. In that package, it has the same body as the A9 Mark III, which is a sweet body with a super nice flippy screen in 15 directions. You can flip it, turn it, whatever you need to, you can do it. And it has a 50 megapixel sensor, BSI stacked, so that might help with rolling shutter. Not so much, it's not the global shutter that we have in the A9 Mark III, but it helps. And then, of course, it has the new AI chip for autofocus in tracking, same thing as they put into the vlogging cameras like the ZV-E1, so on and so forth. I have myself an AI chip inside this A7C Mark II, and I have to say it's a good relief, it's a good help, because it's a chip, it's an AF tracking you can trust. So this whole package, it's really nothing new, because this 50 megapixel sensor, well, it's basically the same that they have in the original A1. No improvements. They said they tweaked it with the processor, and so you can use and you have less noise at a given ISO. So basically you have the same noise that you used to have at 3200 ISO at 6400 ISO. So you gain one f-stop, and this is plenty, but it is photographic centric, so photography first, because when it comes down to video, of course it can record video, the technology is there, there's no reason to limit it. You can also record video in 8K. I don't understand why anybody would need to record in 8K, but if you want, you can. But here it's a bit on the low side of the specs. Of course, you can do 4K 120 oversampled, and this is totally fine, but you cannot record RAW in camera nor ProRes recording in camera. So now I was supposing this was a standard, because the same specs for Canon, you have them at $4,200, while this camera, which is 6K, doesn't have it. So I would rather go with a Nikon Z6 Mark III and enjoy my video recording. But if you have photographic needs, this is why you want to have the Sony A1 Mark II. If you are hitting on that side of photography, meaning you are a pro, you need all these great specs AF, you need a body which is not even a professional body, because let's face it, they call it flagship, but this camera is not a flagship. I'm sorry to say that it is a great camera, it is a great product, probably it is not worth it, the $6,500 that they're asking for it. Then this said, this is my bias, because I appreciate Sony. My irrational mind says Sony has plenty of features, plenty of things that can help you in your day-to-day workflow if you're a professional. And when I'm shooting with a Sony, I'm quite confident that I'm having good end results, but that's no romance in it. It's not a romantic shooting as I was supposed to have back in the days with my Nikon D750. Now it's fully rational. I need something, I go for Sony. I can have it for probably the best price possible out there if you are patient enough to wait for deals, but it doesn't have any, I'm not carried away with passion by Sony products nor by the end result. And I have to say, it is a good, solid proposition, and when you're using Sony products, you sell good photos. I happen to send my clients the photos that they wanted me to shoot, and they are all happy. I used to have Nikon, and then I used Leica for a few years, and now I'm using Sony. They are all happy, but I have to say that was a big deal for me. $6,500 for the new A1 Mark II, it's a hard pass. But maybe you have different needs, so this is for you to evaluate what needs do you have, and if you want to invest in the Sony system, and then feel free to go for it because it will never be outdated. Though the latest finds from research and development from Sony were packed into this body, and I have to say I really like the body. So if I had to invest 6K and if I was limited to choose a Sony camera, I would rather go for the A9 Mark III. Why is that? Well, because of the global shutter. I know the whole discussion about the global shutter limiting the dynamic range, but that it's so fast you can shoot 120 frames per second when it comes down to photography, and you have a global shutter, meaning you don't have rolling shutters, so it's one thing less to be worried about. So if it was to me, I would rather pick up the A9 Mark III because I know 24 megapixel is plenty, but maybe you have different needs. Maybe you need 50, maybe you need to crop afterwards. Cropping, it's a great thing, it's a great help, it's so versatile. You can crop afterwards in post. I used to do it with my Leica because I had the 28mm and 47 megapixels, so it was enough to crop in, and I have to say that was a valid help. Apart from that, they also released another glass, which is the 28-70 f2. Now, I do understand Canon has the same glass released 6 years before, so 6 year ante prior to this Sony release, and as a matter of fact the Canon was bigger, chunkier, heavier, so this Sony release of the 28-70 f2, it's smaller, it's more compact, and it's also more modern, so probably a great lens. I saw the product reviews from guys that had the chance to try it, and they were also happy about it. I saw impressive results. That's a really great glass, but it comes with a caveat. It is big, it is heavy, it is very expensive. So 28-70, normally that focal range is a walk around focal range. It's not for professional use. It's more of the one fits all walk around. So when you're visiting, when you're traveling, visiting new cities, you want to have one piece of glass with you to cover the majority of the needs that you might have. And this is not it, because if you are traveling to different cities with a total package of $10,000 brand new Sony camera and glass, and it is big, heavy and expensive, well, maybe you're not enjoying your visit to the new city. So in my humble opinion, again, this is a great exercise of style. Sony did everything perfectly. I'm sure this glass will please most of people. Is it for me? It is not. So please let me know down here if it is for you, and if you are targeting, if you're saving, if you pre-ordered already the camera, the glass, or them both. So with that, I hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, please remember to like it, share it on your social media, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the new videos to come, and I guess I will see you later. Thank you. Bye bye.